Anthony Pompliano, you know him. He's been on the show a couple times. He calls Bitcoin your savings account. I always think that's interesting. That's the money you put away that you're going to keep the rest of your life. And then, you invest your other things in other pieces. I always think that's a good analogy. Let's talk about when this season might come where risk goes on in these altcoins. So we're also hearing rumors of other ETFs happening, Solana, XRP, Doge, and some of these actually seem like they could be happening in the next weeks and months. Obviously, Genius looks like it's going to pass, and then there's other bills after that. There's that market practice bill, which is kind of making DeFi okay in America. And so I guess I'm going to ask you the question that people will ask you. When do we think this is going to happen? Some people say you need a Fed dropping rates before there will be an altcoin season. That looks like it will definitely happen in May when we get a new Fed chair, which again isn't that far off, especially if you know it's going to happen. Do you think we need a Fed move for them to be an altcoin season? And when do you see this happening?
So, I guess a couple of things that will move crypto up. It's either going to be Fed dropping rates or it's going to be printing money.
Okay, right.
Yes, right. And outside of course, policy aspects and more stability in the market, which I think is the one thing we can't necessarily sort of assume. One thing that we should assume with Trump is that there's going to be a lot more volatility and a lot more things that we cannot expect, right? I think everyone in our industry certainly was not expecting this activity to take place over the last 6 months, right? I mean, it's pretty wild if you look at the swings out there. Now, what's important for Trump? If you look at, if you had to take a bet at things, you would want to make sure that the sort of US government and that the markets are in reasonable shape to make sure the midterms are at least looking good, right? And also you want to make sure that Trump has, I think he wants to make sure that he has a positive legacy ahead of him.
What the London Real Investment Club actually does for you, it gives you the keys to open that door to the inside deals. In the last 3 weeks, I've participated in 3 incredible deals: a layer 2 Bitcoin protocol, an incredible AI protocol. The deal flow is beyond what I expected. I don't think I've ever seen a model like this that just gives average folks the opportunity to be behind the deals. And that's exactly what we've done. Not only that, you get to hang out with Brian Rose every week. And for me, that was huge because I look at Brian as somebody who's not only an expert in the space, and I think is on the leading edge, but just the leading edge of thought with London Real and the work he's doing there. To anyone who's taking a serious look at this, I know it's a big decision. It was a big decision for me and my family, and it is one of the best decisions I've ever made. So I wish you all the best and hope you come join us.
Which is also why I think, when you look at what's happening with the tariffs, the way that it acted wasn't really that long. Right? I mean, when you usually have a tariff war historically, it doesn't end in a week or in a couple of phone calls or some great sort of, posts and tweets. We had a great meeting. It's all done. Like, these are usually long negotiated processes.
Is it over?
Well, I'm not saying it's over.
The volatility is over
but I think the attention on tariffs is no longer the same.
Yeah.
Right. And so
is that because the news cycle has gotten so short that you can't shock anybody anymore?
Well, yes. So the shock therapy isn't quite going to work the same way.
Yeah.
But also the fact that, you're trying to create an impact, you're trying to create a reaction that will hopefully have a positive outcome. And when that no longer works, you go on to the next thing. But at the end of the day, what I think they all want, regardless of the way they're getting there and regardless of all the criticism, is they obviously want for America to be better. And by the way, I don't think that's what everyone agrees with, right? There's a whole bunch of people who say everything they're trying to do is not for the benefit of America, but just for the benefit of a select few. I generally disagree with that statement because I think they do care about their legacy, right? And the legacy will be tarnished if it turns out that only the billionaire club made money and the rest of them basically didn't. Because that's essentially how you get voted out, right?
Yeah.
And then, at the end of the day, as we all know, history is written by the victors. And so if the next candidate is completely going against everything that they've done before, they're going to rewrite history and it's not going to look very good. So I actually think they're going to try to do whatever they can to make the markets look more positive. Which basically means if the Fed isn't going to cut rates, they're going to do some other stuff.
They're playing around with these banking reserves and how much the bank has to hold in capital for owning treasuries. And Besant's thinking about relaxing that, which is a way of printing money.
Correct.
I don't know if it's a way of printing a lot of money, but...
Well, I mean, I think they were very aware of the fact that they need to essentially get the economy back on track. and to get essentially more flows into economies, not just overseas investments, but just broad activities. So I think, if I had to sort of put a crystal ball onto it, we generally believe that by Q4 and early Q1, actually markets are going to be up for recovery. And again, it's for the lead up for what's going to be a very, very important election in the next year.
For the midterms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.